Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the final set of rules associated with the General's Handbook 2024-2025. And this is quite an exciting set to look at because we've seen some updates in the last couple of months that have changed from the original General's Handbook that came out with the 4th edition release of Age of Sigmar. So today we're going to have a nice quick video. We're going to have a look at those and include looking at the Honor Guard abilities, and we're also going to look at the changes to the double turn rules. So let's get into it. So if we start with the Honor Guard rules, so the previous rules were that each army gets to pick a unit in the General's Regiment, and that unit becomes the Honor Guard. They choose this unit and the ability during deployment. So you have a little bit of opportunity to respond to what army you're playing up against. Now, the way this has changed in the last couple of months with the last major rules update is that the player with the higher number of regiments gets to pick a second Honor Guard unit. But there are some caveats to this. First of all, they must choose a different ability. They can't use the same ability for both Honor Guard units. And secondly, that unit must be in a different regiment. So what we're going to do is have a look at the abilities you can pick. There's been 2 new abilities that have been added to the list of options, and we'll have a little talk through them. The first ability that can be selected is Special Assignment. If you select this for the Honor Guard, you're essentially picking a specific keyword rend ability, and against that keyword that unit has +1 rend, which is good because rend is one of the most powerful stats in Age of Sigmar 4th edition. Now there are some caveats to this. First of all, this only applies if that unit has charged, and it only applies to their melee weapons, so it doesn't apply to shooting attacks. But overall, this is a quite good ability, but I think you'll see as we go through some of the others are just a lot more powerful. But it's a nice backup staple ability if you feel that you're not going to get the usability out of the other option. The next option is Bodyguard. Now, this was one of the most popular options. What this does is your Honor Guard grants -1 to attacks to units' melee weapons whilst they're in combat with the regimental leader. But it only applies if the Honor Guard is wholly within 6 inches of the leader and that the Honor Guard and leader did not charge this turn. This is a major shake-up because this was exploited quite a bit by Stormcast armies, for example, where they would charge in with both these units and then the opponent's units would be -1 to attack. So Games Workshop has responded and essentially said you can't do this if you charge. So it's still a very powerful ability. -1 to attack characteristic is very strong. The unit does have to remain wholly within 6 inches, and neither of the units can charge, or if they do charge, then you don't get this Honor Guard Bodyguard ability. Okay, so the first of the new abilities is Field Sergeant. I think this is a really incredible ability, and I think it's been a game changer for some armies. So this is only pickable by a non-fly infantry hero. And if you select this, he grants a +2 inch to move of friendly non-fly infantry units whilst they're wholly within 12 inches of the Honor Guard unit. Now this is incredibly powerful into armies such as Iron Jaws, where they suffer from their slow movement ability, or Nurgle is another example. Being able to have a infantry hero that can essentially create a 12-inch bubble of +2 inch to move is incredibly powerful, particularly for those armies where they might have a large amount of infantry units and limited, if any, flying units. So I think this is an incredibly powerful, really good ability to be added to the list of Honor Guard abilities. So, well done, Games Workshop. You've done a good one here. And then the second new ability is Prized Beast. This is only pickable by a non-unique monster. So these are typically unique monsters, are typically your named characters. That unit can't be reinforced, and it can't be the leader of a regiment. But if you pick this, it's able to ignore the battle damaged effects. So you will notice battle damaged effects. If you look at Monster War Scrolls, typically they have a battle damaged effect. So this might be that when they've taken X amount of damage, then their number of attacks halves, or they aren't able to do their ability as often as you would normally do, which is very strong. On top of that, they get +1 to hit, and that includes companion weapons as well, which is incredibly powerful. So not only do they ignore the battle damaged effect, they also get +1 to hit. I think this is, again, like Field Sergeant, this is a really powerful ability. I think it's added quite a bit of choice into the Honor Guard abilities. I think it's really good. I think some armies that maybe haven't been performing as well as they might have been previously are now going to perform better with this. So I think overall, good job, Games Workshop. Good set of abilities. So for those of you who are new to Age of Sigmar, the double is the thing that everybody else who plays other wargaming systems absolutely hates us for. And if you are a non-Age of Sigmar player, this is typically the reason people cite for not wanting to play Age of Sigmar. I think it's an inherent part of the game. And I think what Games Workshop has done is probably made it less viable with their 4th edition rules, but actually with this change have made it slightly more viable, and I'm quite happy with this. So the way the double works is at the start of every turn in Age of Sigmar, both players roll off for initiative, and the winner gets to decide which player goes first. A double is when the player who went second last turn immediately goes first this turn. So effectively they've had their battle round, their turn, it's finished, they're now going again, which is why it's a double. They essentially get to do double of everything before you get to do your command phase, movement phase, everything else. Now in 4th edition, the standard penalty for taking the double is that you're not able to nominate and score battle tactics. So you essentially, if you take the double, you are essentially saying, I'm not going to score my 4 secondary victory points this turn, which I think was an interesting change. It's caused a lot of debate amongst the community. I'm actually in support of it. I think, you choose to take the double and you accept that there are some risks of taking the double, and there are situations where the benefits outweigh the risks. But overall, I think this is a positive change. Now, how this has changed in the update is that when a player takes a double turn, the opponent immediately becomes the underdog, and unless they take a double turn at a later point, they remain the underdog. So they remain the underdog until another double is taken, and then the other player will become the underdog, assuming that, that's how it is. Also, if the player opting to take the double turn is 6 or more victory points behind, they can still select and score a battle tactic. I think this is really great. One of the problems with Age of Sigmar, certainly in 3rd edition, is that it was, I don't want to say easy, because that makes it sound like, that belittles the skill cap of those really good players. But if you built up a points lead, it was easy to win the game because it was very difficult for your opponent to catch up on those points. And I think the changes to the double turn, certainly the underdog bonus that came in 4th edition, was aimed to help with that catch up. But these changes to the double turn also really help that underdog to catch up on the scoring. So overall, I think this is a really good change by Games Workshop, And I think that it's made the double a very viable option if you're behind on victory points. Okay, so that's us covering all of the General's Handbook. We've covered the battle plans, we've covered the battle tactics in both of those in previous videos, and now we've just covered the seasonal rules. Everything is now up to date as of February 2025. We'll see if there's any other updates in later major rules updates, and I'll do a video just to get everybody up to speed if or when those come through. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We're now going to move on to doing some more content around playing the game, and in particular I think the next thing I want to look at is matchups and then deployment, and looking forward to getting that content out to you. I think you're going to enjoy it. So once again, thank you for all the support you've shown the channel over the last couple of months. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've had an unprecedented number of views, so much interaction on our channel. We've just relaunched the Discord server, and we've spent quite a bit of time chatting already about people's paint schemes, but feel free to pop by the Discord server. There'll be a link in the video description, and come and talk about playing Age of Sigmar, and we're going to have an absolute great time. So until next time, I hope you have a positive hobby journey. Bye for now.